Today, we're going one step further to find out how we can put those insights to work to actually earn more. Now, by far, one of the most frequently asked questions is always on the exchange rate. So Eugene, I'm going to put you in the hot seat first. Everyone wants to know what's happening. When is the best time to buy? When is the best time to sell? So maybe, Eugene, could you start by just briefly summarizing the trends that you saw in the FX market in 2020?
Thank you, Marion, for that question.
Sure.
But before I get to the trends, let me just summarize what happened with the exchange rate in 2020. And what really happened was that the Jamaican dollar performed worse in 2020 than it did in 2019, recording a devaluation of 7.8%. That was twice the level it was in 2019. The outcome, however, was not surprising given the impact of COVID-19 on crucial foreign exchange earning sectors such as tourism. But even before the hit from COVID-19, it was always going to be a damage control exercise throughout 2020, given the fact that in the first month of the year in 2020, the dollar slid almost 7%.
Oh.
And so with COVID-19, that was going to make it even that much harder for BOJ to contain the slide throughout the year. And so kudos should go to the central bank and other intervening players for pretty much for the excellent stewardship of the currency throughout the year, in ending the year with just a slightly higher devaluation than we saw in January 2020.
It's good to know.
All right. Now, as it relates to the trends, three notable patterns remained in 2020. The first being large monthly fluctuations in the exchange rate continued. We saw where at the start of a quarter, there would be a sharp depreciation, and then by the time the quarter comes to a close, there'll be a strong rebound in the Jamaican dollar. We also saw that in the very last month of each quarter, there's been an appreciation of the Jamaican dollar. And then the third observation would have been that December continued to be a very good month with respect to the performance of the Jamaican dollar.
Oh, that's good to know, Eugene. So far for 2021, have you noticed any other trends that we should know?
Quite so. So unlike 2020, well, certainly January 2020, when there wasn't much intervention from BOJ in January of 2020, we have seen that completely change in 2021. BOJ has been very active, not only in the foreign exchange market, but also in the fixed income market, as it tried to prevent a similar situation from happening this time around. And so, for instance, the Bank of Jamaica would have sold US 85 million into the foreign exchange market.
Wow.
They also sold roughly 95 million of a US dollar index note. And they also took out Jamaican dollar liquidity through a local fixed rates certificate of deposit. Now, all told, with those actions from BOJ, BOJ would have reduced the supply of Jamaican dollar into the financial system by approximately 42 billion
Wow.
Jamaican dollars. And they would have added 85 million into the foreign exchange market. Now, in judging those results, we did in fact see a slower pace of depreciation in January this year.
Okay.
Actually ended the month roughly 4.9% compared to the 6.5% that was recorded in 2020.
Wow, that's a very active central bank we have there.
Very much so.
I'm sure that those activities have a lot of implications for our investment strategies. But Eugene, maybe based on the trends that you have just described, what do I need to know for my 2021 foreign exchange strategy?
Okay. All right. So it is important to know that despite the interventions from BOJ and other players, the value of the Jamaican dollar is likely to be lower at the end of the year from where it is now. One of the main reasons for that is that the the impact of COVID-19 on the tourism sector, for instance, is going to continue for some time. And when you also add to that, I mean, even though there have been discovery of vaccines, but the rollout of those vaccines in places like the US and Europe have been progressing at a slower pace than anticipated. Also, even more recently, Canada has actually suspended flights to the Caribbean, and Canada is also one of those key countries that supply tourists to Jamaica. So the impact on tourism is going to be, prolonged, which means that the shortfall in foreign exchange from the tourism sector is going to continue for some time. Now, also added to that is the historical performance of the Jamaican dollar vis-a-vis the US dollar. Historically, the Jamaican dollar has devalued against the US dollar. As a matter of fact, I think I made this point in my last presentation, that since 1991, when the currency was liberalized, there's only been 3 years where the Jamaican dollar has actually recorded an appreciation for the entire year. Wow. So it's doubtless it's doubtful that trend is going to change anytime soon. So long and short of it is, being and staying invested in US dollars will continue to be an investment thesis, not just for 21, but beyond 21 going forward.
Wow, that's really helpful, Eugene. Thank you. So just to recap, you're suggesting, or the data suggests that we should sell US dollars at the start of a quarter, buy US dollars at the end of a quarter, or possibly even at the end of the calendar year in December if we can. And actually not many people are aware that Sterling operates a Cambio. So if you are interested in, and you don't have to be a client to use our Cambio services, so certainly give us a call if you're looking to either buy US or sell US. We've got great competitive rates. And certainly, I think I loved your last point, Eugene. Staying invested in US dollars seems to be the name of the game, not just for 2021, but beyond.